Guys, very good morning to all of you. Today, I'm starting a very important topic of your Ipcc. Actually, what do I believe, guys, is that something which is very simple is not considered valuable. Just like shopping, when we go for shopping and we find out something very expensive, we adore a lot. We always wish that, okay, I will buy this one day. And some things which is available cheap, it's like, oh yeah, okay, theek hai, not so important. But what am I going to do today? The chapter that I'm picking up today with you guys is the simplest one. But yet, it is most powerful tool in the world of finance. In fact, every chapter in finance cannot be studied properly if you don't study this chapter. Let me not put you across so many things on that. The chapter that I'm going to teach you today is known as time value of money, TVM. That is time value of money. The chapter logically simply puts it across that time has money value. Time has money value. Now, for example, suppose if your dad tells you that, Rahul, you need 10,000 today or you need 10,000 after a year, what would you opt for? 10,000 today, flat and straight. Take it another way around. What if somebody tells you that you have to pay 10,000 today and somebody comes and tells you, okay, it's okay if you don't pay it today, you may pay it after a month. What would you do? Would you take an offer for paying it today or would you take an offer for paying it after a month? Exactly after a month, na? That's what I have written on the sheets also. In fact, if somebody comes and tells you something like this, we will feel like cussing a person out. Hai ki nahi? So, basically what am I trying to tell you is that time has money value. What is today, what is after a year is something different. I mean to say, 100 rupee today is not valued at 100 rupee after a month. 100 rupee after a month is not valued at 100 rupee today. That is known as time value of money. Have a look at the introduction, guys. Just have a look at it. Introduction. The books are with you. Hi guys, I don't know why, but there's a general perception that what is simple is not valuable. Yeah, it's like shopping. We value something that comes expensive. Do you? But guys, the chapter that I'm now going to teach you is the simplest, yes, the most powerful tool of finance. Now, that's what the book is all about. Even if you don't look at these videos, you're on the top of it. Just follow the book. I've given you a few examples and we can see the next part as to what is it. Why would you do this? The answer to this question is very simple. It is because time value or time has money value or money has time value. So guys, let's move on. Let's take to this simple yet appealing and most powerful concept of finance. That's time value of money. Can I start with that? Before I go on to the concepts on time value of money, first of all, we need to understand why. The reasons. Ask yourself, why would you love 10,000 today and not 10,000 after a year? Or why would you like to delay your payments? That is what is known as reasons as to why. If you look into the books, now why? Why rupee 100 today is more valued than in future? During my school days, my pocket money was 500 and I would like you all to had a habit of crying on it. Like you all had a habit of crying on it always. Thinking it's too less. And used to run across my mom and ask her to tell my dad to increase it. I used to do that in school. 500 rupee was my pocket money, guys. And I used to go to my dad every month and cry over it. But today when I look at guys, if somebody tells me 500 rupees of pocket money, what's the value? Zero. I used to go in theaters, watch a movie out at 20 rupee, have a popcorn at 2 rupees. Have you done that? In fact, just yesterday I went to a movie and I had a tube of popcorn. It costed me 150 rupee. And when I'm saying I used to do it, don't consider me as a 60-year-old. I used to do it like 10 years back. 10 years back, a bucket of popcorn. In fact, there was no buckets of popcorn. There was a small packet of popcorn, plastic wrap packets. And that packet of popcorn used to cost me 2. Now the bucket of popcorn cost me 150. Time value of money. Reasons. The first reason is we will always prefer present versus future ka kahani. So what will you choose, present or future? Always present. If somebody tells you holiday today, holiday tomorrow, give me holiday today. If somebody tells you let's go to the restaurant today or restaurant tomorrow, restaurant today. If somebody tells you 10,000 today, 10,000 tomorrow, 10,000 today, we always prefer today. The choice between today and future is today. So present versus future ke choice mein it's present. Second, the reason that time has money value is inflation. Inflation. Inflation means what? Can anybody define me the word inflation? Anybody? Inflation means rise in prices. The price of the commodity keeps on increasing day by day, every day. Do you agree with that? That is known as rise in prices. Now what happens? Just an example. Just an example. I have 100 rupee in my pocket today, and my friend comes and tells me, Rahul, I need a loan of 100 rupee. Before he came to me, I had plans that ye 100 rupees hai, I will go to a theater and watch a movie. Of course, even these days, 100 rupee ticket is not available, but let's just assume it, frankly speaking. 100 rupee, I was going to go for a movie, and now friend comes and asks me for a loan, and he says, I will return you this 100 rupee after a year. After a year. 100 rupee today, and he is going to be returning me this amount after a year. Now, if after a year, he returns 100 rupee back to me, is it valid? Because if I imagine after a year, if I'll go into the theater to watch the movie, will the ticket available at 100? The ticket which costed me 100 today, will the ticket available at same 100 rupee after a year? Answer is no. Ticket will not be available at 100 rupee. So what will I tell my friend is, yaar, Vishal, you need to give me 110. 110, because the ticket will cost, let's say, 110 after a year. So 100 rupee today will be equal to 110. The person who is taking loan from me needs to compensate me for the same activity. So because of rise in prices, even money should have time value. Are you understanding that? So reason number one is present versus future. The reason number two is inflation. And above all, the third point, the most important point, is known as risk. There's a risk involved. Now agreed, my dad said that Rahul, I'll give you 10,000 today or I'll give you 10,000 after a year. Agreed. If I opt for 10,000 a year, and what if my dad's decision changes? My dad thinks that no, I will not give you now. I told you before. There's a risk. And that risk needs to be compensated. So I will tell my dad that if you're giving me today, give me 10,000, or if you're giving me after a year, give me 11,000. Because I'm undertaking a risk. And all financial transactions in finance, in financial management, are risk involved. Do you agree with that one? So because of three reasons, money will have a time value. And those three reasons are the present versus future, we'll choose the present, the inflation rate in the economy, and the risk factor. Because of three reasons that money has time value. Are we clear with that one? So guys, can we go on the concepts now? The concepts of time value of money. Now there are two concepts of time value of money. One is future value. Future value concept. 100 rupee today is how much after a year or 2 years or 3 years. That's a future value concept. Learning these concepts or learning this concept involves a concept known as compounding that we have studied in school actually. Compounding, that is the rate of interest. It will be compounded. That is known as future value concept. Acha. The second concept that we are going to study in time value of money is known as present value. Present value. Perfect है. Future value, present value. Present value means 100 rupee after a year. How much is it valued today? Future value 100 today. How much is it valued after a year? Now the common sense tells me that 100 today, the value after a year will be more than 100. That's a future value concept. And simultaneously, the 100 rupee after a year currently will be valued less than 100. So the present value is always less than the future value. And the difference between these two is the interest. Interest is the real version of time value of money. So people say, what's time value of money? It's interest. At future value, the concept utilized or the concept to be studied will be known as compounding. Exactly opposite of compounding will be known as discounting. Discounting will be used to calculate the present value. Compounding will be used to calculate the future value. So concepts of time value of money, we have got two concepts. One is the present value and one is the future value. Future value compounding, present value discounting. Correct? Chalo, the pages. The first concept that we will start learning is going to be future value concept. In future value concept, we are going to find out the value of money after X years. That's future value. We will keep on looking at things that we are going to be studying. I'm writing on the top that we are studying the concept known as future value. Inside future value, I'll teach you something very simple, and that is known as simple interest. And the name itself is simple interest. So let's start studying the word simple interest. What is simple interest? If I deposit an X amount of money, how much interest will I get for a year, 2 years, 3 years? And how much will be my amount after 3 years? Your books. Future value concept. As discussed earlier, it's a value of money held presently at some given time in future. Now that's future value. 100 today. How much is the value after a year? This is FV. That's future value. And we will always say this is FV. Simple interest concept. Simple interest is an amount calculated by applying simple percentage on the given any amount, उस पे percentage apply कर दो. That's it. In fact, school वाला formula, मजा आती है ये सब सुन के. This is what I was good in school also. Simple interest is equal to P and R. P stands for principal, N stands for number of years, R stands for rate. So simple interest का formula है P into N into R. Okay. When we add this interest to the principal, we will get something that is known as amount. So amount is equal to P plus I. P plus I. P stands for the principal, I stands for interest. So principal plus interest will be known as amount. Let us take one question. थोड़ा ज़्यादा समझेगा हम लोगों को. पहले कोई formula देख लो. See the presentation. SI is equal to PNR. SI is simple interest. P is principal. N is number of years. R is the rate of interest. If we add principal to interest, we get the total amount that is future value at the end of the period. Do you agree with that? Question number 1. RM deposits rupees 10,000 in a bank for 5 years at 9% simple interest. What will be the amount at the end of 5 years? Question number 1. RM deposits how much? 20,000. Principal 20,000. N 5 years. R 9%. So guys, ekdam simple na. I have deposited 20,000 rupee for 5 years at 9% rate of interest. They are asking me to calculate amount. So first I'll calculate interest and then I'll calculate amount. So interest, simple interest is equal to P into N into R is equal to 20,000 into number of years of 5 into the rate is 9%. चलिए आप calculate कीजिए 20,000 into 5 into 9%. I'm getting an amount of 9,000. Correct? That is simple interest. Amount 20,000, that is principal. We'll write a formula first, that's P plus I. So it's equal to 20,000 plus 9,000 is equal to 29,000. 29,000. 9,000 is the interest, 29,000 is amount. आज अगर हम लोग 20,000 deposit करते हैं at 9% rate of interest, after 5 years I'll get 29,000 or I'll get 9,000 as interest. Simple interest. Clear? पक्का? चलो question number 2 पे. Calculate the simple interest and the future value. Future value. Now guys, let's go into that mode. This amount is nothing but future value. Amount का मतलब future value. So future value का मतलब है आज अगर हम एक deposit करते तो future में कितना मिलेगा? That's future value. Correct है? So they are asking you to calculate the interest and the future value. If the amount of 50,000 was invested at 10% per annum, we are investing 50,000 right now. 10% per annum is the rate of interest for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 73 days. 5 different answers. Chalo, let us calculate first for 3 months. 3 months. Question number 2. Amount, okay, sorry, 3 months. PI, or I would rather say SI, is equal to PNR 50,000 for 3 months for 10%. Please, 50,000 into 3 by 12 into 10%. Am I getting an amount of 1250? FV is equal to P plus I is equal to 50,000 plus 1250 is equal to 51,250. So simple. Acha, second, they said 6 months. Let's calculate that for 6 months. B, 6 months का interest calculate करना है. So SI is equal to 50,000 into 6 by 12 into 10%. I guess your amount will be 2,500. Sorry, interest will be 2,500. Are we getting that, guys? And second, FV is equal to 50,000 plus 2,500 is equal to rupee 52,500. That's the amount. That is future value. Correct. Of course, you might be wondering, but that's my logic, you know. I will take you from a very simple level, the starting point till the end point. Bear with me if you're finding it simple and enjoy the lecture, please. That is 6 months done. 1 year ka calculations. C, SI is equal to 50,000 into 1 year. Now it's year. So you don't need to say 12 by 12. 12 by 12 is nothing but 1. 3 by 12 kya tha? 3 months by 12 months. 6 months by 12 months. 12 months by 12 months is 1 into 10%. 5,000. FV is equal to 50,000 plus 5,000, 55,000. Damn neat, damn simple. Acha, second, 2 years. This is C for 1 year. 2 years. D, SI is equal to 50,000 into 2 years into 10%. I guess the amount is 10,000. 10,000 is the interest. The future value will be 50,000 plus the 10,000 will be 60,000. Will be 60,000. Are you getting that? Chakas. Okay. Next one. I guess 73 days. अब उन्होंने days में कहा है तो हम days में calculation करेंगे. N will be in terms of days. Correct है कि नहीं? So E 73 days. SI is equal to 50,000 into 73 by 365 into 10%. Get me the amount, please. 50,000 into 73 divided by 365 into 10%. I'm getting an amount of 1,000 rupee. आ रहा है आपका 1,000 सर? जकास. Future value 50,000 deposit किया था. We deposited 50,000, 1,000 rupees the interest. So 50,000 plus 1,000 is equal to 51,000. Cool. I know it's very simple, but you need to understand simple interest is P&R, principal into number of years into the rate. Correct है? Copy करने की ज़रूरत है. I'll give you a second to copy. Do it fast. यहाँ से number 2 से. So we go to the next question. Question number 3. Miss Pooja receives 3,200 at the end of 6th year. She had deposited 2,000 6 years ago. What is the rate of simple interest? Cool. Pooja receives 6,000. She receives 3,200 and she had deposited 2,000. Now, question number 3. Miss Pooja, question number 3, deposited 2,000, year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and she receives 3,200. What is the rate of simple interest? Now, to start with, if you are not wrong, amount is equal to principal plus interest. Amount she received was 3,200. Principal was 2,000 plus the interest. So, can I say that interest is 1,200? 3,200 minus 2,000. So, interest is 1,200. Now, interest, simple interest is equal to P and R. P, interest is 1,200. Principal was 2,000 she deposited for 6 years at the rate. I need to calculate the rate. So, let us calculate the rate. 2,000 into 6, divide by 1,200 and I am getting the answer that is 10%. So Pooja receives 10% per annum simple interest. And it is very simple also to understand, guys. 2000 today, 10%, 2200, again 200, 2400. Simple interest is always calculated on the original principal amount. That's simple interest for us. Clear? Too good. Question number 4. RM borrowed 1000 3 months ago. He now owes 1025. RM borrowed 1000 3 months ago. So 3 months ago I borrowed 1000. Correct? And he owes 1025 now. I have to pay 1025. He has requested you to calculate the rate of simple interest. Please do the needful to complete his request. We will definitely complete RM's request. Hai na? Question number 4. He borrowed how much? 1000. 1025 payable. 3 months. Needs to calculate the rate of simple interest. Rate. They want the rate again. So I'm telling you first of all, interest is equal to 1025 minus 1000 is equal to 25. Is the interest 25 rupee interest pay kar rahe ho? Acha. Simple interest formula is equal to PNR 25 is equal to 1000 into 3 by 12 into 3 by 12 into the rate. So once again calculate the rate. 12 will go here. 25 into 12 divide by 1000 into 3. So 25 into 12 divide by 3000. I'm getting percentage. Always multiply by 100 to get the percentages. Again, am I getting 10% per annum? Simple interest. 10% per annum is the simple interest. Clear? Question number 5. RM invests rupees 50,000 into the bank at 8.5% simple interest and receives 69,125 on maturity. Find the period for which the amount was invested by RM. Now they are asking you to calculate the amount, guys. RM invested how much? 50,000 into the bank at 8.5%. Question number 5. RM invested 50,000 and he received 69,125. The rate is 8.5% simple interest. They want you to calculate the period. But go by the logic. Simple. पहले तो इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेट कर ले. सिंपल है एकदम. इंटरेस्ट 69,125 माइनस 50,000 is equal to rupee 19,125. What is rupee 19,125? The interest. Clear or not? Simple interest. The formula is PNR. 19,125 is equal to 50,000 into N हमें ढूंढना है into the R is 8.5%. Let's find the N. 19,125 divided by 50,000 into 8.5%. Correct, Nick? Calculations, please. 19,125 or 50,000 8.5% divide by 19,125 divide and equal to 19,125 divided by 50,000 8.5%. 19,125 divide equal to, I'm getting an answer of 4.5. 4.5 years. RM had deposited this amount for 4.5 years. 50,000 into 8.5% करेंगे 19,000 से divide हो जाएगा. 4.5 is the answer. Clear? चलो. I'll give you some time to copy और ये बहुत simple questions है तो फटाफट copy करना because I want to take you through the next questions. So start from 3. So you're done copying? That's question number 5 for you. So we are done with something that is known as simple interest. I'll take you to something new, and that is known as compound interest. Come back and flow with the book. Always flow with the book. Compound interest. Now what is compound interest, guys? So future value mein we studied the simple interest, and second one is known as compound interest. And this is actual future value concept that you are learning now. This compound interest concept is actually known as FE, that is future value concept. Now suppose, what was simple interest? That I deposit the money here, and let's say this is year 1 and this is year 2. So the rate of interest will be directly applied on this amount, and I will finally get an amount after 2 years. So for example, if I deposit 100 rupee at 10%, 100 cut 10% for 2 years. This is the way calculation was done. 100 cut 10% is 10, for 2 years will be 20. But that was simple interest concept. What does a compound interest concept tell you is that amount deposited today, after a year will be the amount plus the interest. Both of this will be added, and we will get a new amount. And now the interest will not be calculated on the original amount, the interest will be calculated on the new amount. Amount is the principal plus interest. So the next time interest will be not calculated on 100 rupee, interest will be calculated on the new amount. Take the same example, 10% is the rate of interest, 100 rupee is deposited. So if 100 is deposited at 10%, 110 after a year, now the interest will be applied on 110, not on 100. मतलब interest पे भी interest मिलेगा. Interest will be calculated on interest itself. Are you understanding that? So we'll get a amount again plus the interest. This will become the new amount. Have a look at your books. That's what I've showed you. In the above concept, that is simple interest, interest was calculated on principal amount. In the concept of compound interest, the interest is earned on the principal amount is added to the amount at the end of the compounding period. The next interest on the principal amount, which is the total of the previous plus the interest, this process will continue. See example now. Interest for first year is principal into the rate. Principal 1 will be the principal 0 plus the interest. Interest 2 for the next period will be the principal 1 into the rate, and this will keep on going. And I have given you the graphical presentation also. Principal final mein amount is equal to principal, principal amount plus principal, amount plus principal. This will continue. I'll give you a practical example of this. I have given you the illustration in the books. 1000 is invested 10%, 3 years. 1000. Illustration. 1000 is deposited, 10% rate of interest for 3 years. What is the simple interest and what is the compound interest? First one, to start with simple interest. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. I have deposited 1000 today. What will be the amount after 3 years? We have done this simple interest. Simple interest is equal to PNR 1000 into 3 years into 10%. If I am not wrong, will be 300. So my amount will be 1000 plus 300 will be 1300. So it will travel 3 years and it will be 1300. That's the simple interest. Clear? Okay. What is compound interest now? How will it work? 1000, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Interest will be calculated on 1000. So 1000 plus 10%, 1100. Now interest will not be calculated on 1000, interest will be calculated on 1100 now. So 1100 plus 10%, will be 1100 plus 10%. Let me take the calc in my hand. 1100 10% will be 1210. 1210 plus 10 percentage will be 1331. So the amount of 1000 will now be 1331. Whereas in simple interest it was 1300, in compound interest it is 1331. This is known as compounding. And in compounding, plus 10%, plus 10%, plus 10%. You agreed with this now? What am I telling you? 1000 into 1.1 into 1.1 मतलब क्या? 10% ऐड कर दिया, बेस इज 1, उस पर हम 10% ऐड कर दे तो इंटू 1.1 हो जाएगा. सो 1000 इंटू 1.1. एक बार चेक करो, आर यू गेटिंग 1100? 1000 into 1.1, is it 1100? Into 1.1, is it 1220? Into 1.1, is it 1331? So in simple level, can I tell you this? It's 1000 into 1.1 into 1.1 into 1.1 is 1331. This will be known as 1.1 cube. Yes or no? 1.1 cube, 1000 into 1.1 cube. चलो ट्राई करो आप मेरे साथ. 1.1 cube चाहिए मुझे. 1.1 into 1.1 into 1.1. I'm getting answer 1.331. 1.331 multiplied by 1000 is equal to 1331. According to the compound interest concept, future value is equal to principal multiplied by 1 plus r. R का मतलब rate. If it is 10% and it's 0.2 multiplied by n raised to n, not multiplied by n, raised to n, the number of years. PV is equal to, FV is equal to P1 plus r raised to n. P is nothing but the present value, 1 plus r raised to n. If you break it up, I'll take you to the logic now. FV is equal to P stands for present value multiplied by compounding factor. What is compounding factor? It's 1 plus r raised to n. That's compounding factor. So simple formula, FV ka future value is equal to present value into compounding factor. How to calculate compounding factor? It is 1 plus r raised to n. And this compounding factor, CF, is also referred to as FVIF r comma n. FVIF r comma n. FVIF stands for future value interest factor. Compounding factor, future value interest factor, FVIF. R is the rate, N is the number of years. Are you clear? और दोनों का ही formula है 1 plus r raised to n. So compounding factor is equal to 1 plus r raised to n. FVIF is equal to compounding factor. So all in all, I'm giving you one simple formula, guys, to remember compounding factor के हिसाब से. FV is equal to PV into CF, that is FVIF r comma n. Do you remember this? And did you understand how the compounding is done? Pakka? Okay. चलो, let us pick up one question. और आप पूरा theory देख लीजिए आप एक बार. So I have told you a very simple language में FV is equal to PV into CF, that is FVIF r comma n. पक्का? अभी इस concept के अंदर, if you look into your books also, this is the concept of FV basically. I'm gonna teach you single cash flow concept, multiple cash flow concept, first one is single cash flow, second one is multiple cash flow, annuity due. And we'll take it one by one. I'll not open up all these things to you right now. We'll take it slow and steady. What are we going to start with first? Is a single cash flow concept. Can we? Good one. तो अब एक क्वेश्चन करेंगे हम लोग, कहाँ से पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं? सिंगल कैश फ्लोज. नाउ सिंगल कैश फ्लो का मतलब है वी आर डिपॉजिटिंग वन अमाउंट or one principal. I want the amount after X number of years. That is single cash flow. Single cash flow. Deposited one amount. I want to know the amount after X number of years. That is single cash flow. Correct है? Question देखिए. Question number 7. Amit invested rupee 20,000 into fixed deposit for 5 years at 8% interest. Principal 20,000 and 5 years. R 8%, and mind you, this is not simple interest, this is compound interest. What will be the total amount on the maturity? So total amount on the maturity, FV is equal to PV into FVIF. R comma N is equal to 20,000 into FVIF. R comma N, FVIF R is 8%, comma N is 5 years. Can I say इसका मतलब हुआ 1 plus 0.08 raised to 5. पहले फैक्टर ढूंढिए. 1.08 into raised to 5. 1.08 raised to 5. That means 1.08 into 1.08 into 1.083 into 1.084 into 1.08 is 5. 1.4693, I'm getting the answer, is equal to 20,000 into 1.4693. This 1.4693 will be known as compounding factor, or it will be known as FEIF. So 20,000 into 1.4693 is equal to 29,386.56. 29,386.56. So you can take it as 29,387. Are you clear? You are understanding the compounding well? चलिए. Always हर एक क्वेश्चन पे अगर आप टाइमलाइन बनाएंगे तो बहुत मजा आएगी सॉल्व करने की. तो आप फटाफट क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 कॉपी कीजिए, फिर हम 8 पे जाते हैं. So we done with 7th, right? Question number 8. 8 के पहले. Now have a look at that. The above illustrations and questions were based on annual compounding. Now what we assumed here is annual compounding. That compounding happens once a year. So principal plus interest amount plus interest amount after a year. But the compounding can happen in the middle of the year also. Let's say compounding can happen quarterly, semi-annually, daily. It can happen any number of times. So if compounding is non-annually, then how can we calculate the cumulative factor? Sorry, the compounding factor, CF. And how will we put it into PVIF? The CF calculation was 1 plus R raised to N, annual compounding. For annual compounding, it was 1 plus r raised to n. For non-annual compounding, it is 1 plus r upon m raised to mn. M, number of times compounding is done in a year. Mn, m, number of times compounding is done in a year multiplied by n, that is number of years. Do you agree with that one? For example, if I say compounding is done non-annually, so 2, number of times compounding, it is done semi-annually. If it is done semi-annually, how many times in a year it will be compounded? 2 times. If it is 3 months, it will be compounded 4 times. So M stands for number of times compounding is done in a year. Are you understanding that? Now that is CF. This is CF, compounding factor. Put into PVIFA becomes also very simple. PVIF becomes also very simple. R, comma N. Now if I tell you that it is compounded semi-annually, then R will be R by 2 and N will be N into 2. So if I tell you the rate is 10% compounded semi-annually, then rate will become 5%. And number of times the compounding needs to be done becomes the number of year wise. Let me teach you this with the help of the question. Question number 8 for you guys. Question number 8. RM decides to invest rupees 50,000 at the rate 6% compounded semi-annually for 4 years. Calculate the amount at the end of 4 years. Now what do I mean by that? 4 years. Question number 8. But compounding is done semi-annually. 6 months, 1 year, 6 months, 2 year, 6 months, 3 year, 6 months, 4 year. I am depositing it here, but compounding is not done annually. Compounding is done by 6 months period. So this is 1 6 months, 2 6 months, 3 and the 4 6 month period. Correct है कि नहीं? यहाँ पे what is the principal that is invested? How much did RM invest? He says he has invested 15,000. Correct? Rate is 6% semi-annually. But semi-annual, and N is equal to 4 years. So FV is equal to PF into PV into CF. Now 2 ways, that's what I am teaching you, CF, and I am also teaching you PVIFA. What am I telling you? FV is equal to PV 15,000 into CF 1 plus R upon M raised to Mn. That is 15,000 into 1 plus R, the rate is 6%, 0.06 divided by M, 2 years, raised to Mn, 4 into 2. So can I say you have reached to 1.03 raised to 8? Yes or no? 1.03 raised to 8. That's what I'm getting. Pakka. Now the same stuff, if I wanted to write it in terms of PVIF, I'm using this one. FV is equal to PV into PVIF R comma N. Put this here. 15,000 into PVIF R was 6%. 6 divided by 2 because 2 times compounding is done. So 6 divided by 2 and N will be into 2. 4 into 2. 4 into 2. So ultimately if you are reading it, it's 15,000 into 1.03. 6 divided by 2 is 3 and 4 into 8 is raised to 8. It's 1.03 raised to 8, 1.03 raised to 8. Do the calculations. The factor first. 1.03 into 1.032, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm getting a factor of 1. 2, 2. I'll do it once again. 1.03 into 1.03, 1.03, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm getting an answer of 1.26677 is equal to 15,000 into 1.26677. Cool है ना? चलिए आंसर देता हूँ मैं. 15,000 into that is 19,000 1.55 rupee. 19,001.55. Got that? And I would rather prefer we using PVIF अपना FVIF. It's not PVIF. I'm misutilizing it. Present value पे PVIF आएगा. It's always FVIF. So either you remember 1 plus R upon M raised to Mn, or you do FVIF R comma N. Number of times compounding is done in a year. अगर 2 है तो divide by 2, R divide by 2, N into 2. If it is 4, R divide by 4, N into 4. Clear? Question number 8. Okay, so we're done with question number 8. Take on question number 9 now. You will understand real compounding in this question. Question 9. Mr. M invests 5,000 in a bank at 10% per annum. What should be the amount after 2 years if compounding is done annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly and daily? Mr. M has invested 5,000 into the bank at 10%. $5,000 into the bank. Question number 9. Principal 5,000, N for 2 years. A, compounding is done annually. If compounding is done annually, FV is equal to PV multiplied by FVIF R comma N. 5,000 into FVIF R comma N. R is the rate. What is the rate they have specified? 10%. 10% comma 2. So that is 5,000 into 1.1 raised to 2. 1.1 raised to 2. Do you understand this? That's 10% comma 2 ka 1.1 raised to 2. So 1.1 into 1.1 is 1.21. 5,000 into 1.21 is equal to 6050. 6050. Compounding is done annually. Are we clear with that one? Okay. What if the compounding is done semi-annually? Compounding is done semi-annually. In this case, PV is equal to 5000 into FVIF. Now, R was 10%. When we say semi-annually, compounding is done 2 times in a year. So, 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 and 2 multiplied by 2. That's 5%, comma 4. And now what do you mean by 5%, comma 4 is 1000 into 1.05 the whole raised to 4. 1.05, 5% for 4 times the compounding is done. So 1.05 raised to 4, 1.05 into 1.05 into 1.05 into 1.05. I'm getting answer of 1.2155. 5000 into 1.2155 is equal to, I hope it's getting more simple for you guys now, into 5000, 6077.53. It's rupee 6077.5. Clear? Too good. C, this was semi-annually. Now they said, what if the compounding is done quarterly? What if the compounding is done quarterly? See, quarterly. FV is equal to PV, present value, multiplied by future value interest factor for 10%, but quarterly. That means compounding will be done 4 times a year. So 10% by 4, 10 divided by 4, R divided by 4, and multiplied by 4. So 10 divided by 4 is 2.5%, N is 2 years, multiplied by 4 is 8. So we shall have 5000 into 1.025 raised to the power 8. 1.025 raised to the power 8. I'm getting an answer at 5000 into, आप factors try कर सकते हैं, 1.2184 is equal to rupee 6092. 6092. Clear? Jackass. चलिए, ये quarterly था. D, I guess, is monthly. If the compounding is done monthly, FV is equal to 5000 into FVIF. 10% is the rate divided by 12. 10% divided by 12. I'm getting an answer as 0.833%. It's 0.833%, comma 2 multiplied by 12 are 24. That is 5000 into 1.00833 raised to the power 24. And this factors, guys, are also available to you at the back of the book. You will see the entire table for FVIF. Are you clear? यहाँ पे तो मैं आपको सारे कॉन्सेप्ट सिखा रहा हूँ, एग्जाम में आपको डायरेक्ट करना पड़ेगा. So that is 1.00833 raised to the power 24 is 1.22029. It's 5000 into 1.22029, and that is equal to 6101.45. 6101.45. That's monthly. Okay, I've done one more thing for you. Daily. Compounding is done daily, guys. FV is equal to present value multiplied by future value interest factor R, comma N. That's 5000 into FVIF. It's done daily. That is 365 a year. So what are we going to do? 10% divide by 365. I'm getting a rate of 0.02739. 0.02739.7%. 0.02739. 0.0279 percentage, comma, n, 2 into 365. 2 into 365 is 730. That calls for, guys, 5000 into 1.00027 raised to power 730. Definitely not possible for you to calculate on your calci, so you can take the table FVIF and get the unit. Factor directly le lene ka. So that is 5000 into, I'm getting 1.22135. We land up at rupees 6106.75. That's compounding, and that's how you convert it into FEIF. R divided by N, R divided by M, N multiplied by M. Clear? Too good. Chaliye. Copy question number 9 so that we can go to question number 10. Start from the top, sir. So we are done with question number 9. Too good.